My name is Danielle Airy, and I'm the district's Chief Communications Officer, and it is my pleasure to welcome you all here this morning. All of us together under one roof here at CCV in this beautiful auditorium. And you know, it's just so fitting that we're all here together at CCV. And by fitting, I mean quite literally. This is the only place within our district that all 3,500 of us will fit under one roof. So we want to thank CCV so much for hosting us this morning. Let's give them a round of applause. Well, we're going to shift in our presentation this morning. We have Charlie Colbert joining us. She's an incoming kindergartner at Oakwood Elementary School, class of 2031. She'll be joined, imagine that, 2031. She'll be joined by Davis Ray from Sunrise Mountain High School. They'll be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the National Anthem by Ridge Brown from Ironwood High School. Now, please rise as we welcome cadets from Peoria High School's JROTC. Shift this.
All right, will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? All right, ready, Charlie? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much to Charlie, to Davis, and to Ridge, and of course to Peoria High School, to our JROTC. You may be seated, thank you. Well, you may have noticed a couple of things when you walked into this auditorium this morning. You may have noticed that we had a few of these seats here in the center section that were reserved, and allow me to explain a little bit more about that. We have some teams of employees here in our district that have just put forth a Herculean effort to make sure we're all prepared to open our doors to 37,000 students here in the next couple of days. I know our IMT staff has been working diligently, making sure computers are imaged and everything is just prepared, ready to go. Our food nutrition staff busy preparing to make sure we have all the food that we need, calendars prepped, lunch menus good to go for those kids as they come in to see us. DAC staff, I think, hired maybe about 300 of you that are out there. Our Human Resources Department, of course, our curriculum team, transportation. I have to tell you, Many of them out there braving heat, 115 degrees, making sure our buses are in working condition, we can transport all of our kids safely. And I know same with our maintenance staff out there dealing with all the monsoons that we had come through here. We want to make sure our schools really look beautiful. So to our support staff, we just want to give you an extra special thank you for all the hard work that you've been doing to make sure we're ready to open. Another group I want to make sure we mention this morning is our executive leadership team. And I know they work tirelessly. They have a true heart for kids. Our executive leadership team, I think many of you are sitting along the front here. Would you please stand so we can recognize you as well? And of course, they're led by our superintendent, Mrs. Linda Pallas Thompson, and you'll be hearing from her in just a little bit. So thank you to our leadership team. Another group I want to make sure we recognize this morning, extremely dedicated volunteers for our district, our governing board. Let's take a look.
What I look forward to in the coming year are those relationships and connections. I remember them as a child with my teachers and administrators and even my peers, and now making more connections and learning more about who we are. It's definitely something I look forward to be a part of that story.
So being a product of public schools, benefiting from caring teachers, coaches, and staff, I certainly fully understand the impact that they have on my life. It's one that's never ending. And when we take a look at the passionate teachers and staff in the Peoria Unified School District, it's that. What is the best thing about Peoria Unified? It's our teachers and staff.
I think if you look at the success of a school district, you look at the students that have come through that school district and look at them as adults. We have raised 2 daughters that have come through the district, and they are now 2 successful young ladies, and we're very proud of them and very proud of the students that come through the district.
When we were moving from Germany and we knew we were coming to Luke, we hunted for the right school district and we came here. I believe that Peoria tries very hard with the money we have, the budget that we have, to meet the needs of all our kids.
The best thing about the Peoria Unified School District is that every student has an opportunity to be victorious. He or she may be victorious on the ball field, we know about that, or maybe win a contest like a speech contest or a spelling bee, but it's the little things. It's being able to master finally a math concept or get through a book that maybe was a challenge because of the tenacity and the dedication of really excellent teachers. And I think it's those little victories that really add up and change kids' lives forever, and I'm so proud to be a part of that.
A big thank you to our governing board. And I do want to take a quick moment to introduce each of them that have joined us this morning, beginning with our president, Mrs. Monica Ceja Martinez. Our governing board clerk, also here with us this morning, Mrs. Beverly Pingarelli. Governing board member, Mr. David Sandoval. And she's about to start her first day of school as a governing board member, serving us for 12 years, Mrs. Kathy Connect. Thank you, Governing Board, for all that you do and for being here with us this morning. Well, another group who has really put forth quite a bit of effort to pull this off and to get all of you here together under one roof this morning is our public relations team. Now, I'm certainly not going to embarrass them by asking them to come forward or to stand, but I was thinking what I could do that they would really appreciate to show how much I appreciate what they've done to put this together is I could not miss this opportunity with all of you here, all of you together. So I'm thinking this morning, if we can, I think we need to take a group photo What do you think, all of you? Okay. So everyone, if we could just raise the house lights just a little bit, maybe suck in, smile. Yeah, and so we'll go ahead. We'll go ahead, and we'll get it. I think we're going to have to put it on pano. Yep, Okay, so smile, cheese, ready? Okay, keep going. You're doing great. You look fantastic, all of you. They're going to be thrilled, that PR team. They're going to be tweeting this using hashtag under one roof. Good. Okay, hold on. Let me just check it. Let me check it. Oh, okay. Row 28, about 7 rows in. Yeah, your eyes are closed, so we're going to Photoshop. Okay, we'll take care of that. Well, that reminds me of something that you all walked into the room with this morning, something pretty powerful right here. It's your very own WMD, Weapon of Mass Distraction. Now, I want you to use it throughout the course of the morning, take photos, tweet, use hashtag under one roof, share all of the memories from today, but if you could please put your WMD's ringer on silent. We would appreciate it. I know we have some more staff that is coming in that's trying to join us. If you could please, if you have an empty seat next to you, if you would please just move into the middle of your row. We do have some seats here in the front and over here on the sides. We want to make sure we get as many of our staff members in for us, so make sure we make some room there. Well, without any further ado, let's go ahead and kick this morning into high gear.
Make a big noise standing in the class, gonna be a big star someday. Got dye on your face, bill of grace, hanging your lessons all over the place, singing we will teach you. Everybody, we will teach you. Crossing guards and support staff, all staff out in the street, gonna keep our kids safe today. Sweat on your face, both ways, waving your sign all over the place, singing we will keep kids safe. Singing we will keep kids safe. Leadership leads, helping with the needs. Students gonna be proud grads someday. You got a smile on your face, winning that race, taking each school to a better place. We will lead them. Everybody, we will lead them. We will teach them. We will keep kids safe. We will support you.
For more than 4 billion years, the Earth has made an annual orbit around the Sun. For the past 128 years, those orbits have been reflected in the annual arrival and departure of students in the Peoria Unified School District. Long-term residents and employees of the district have seen great changes during that century and a quarter, but it is safe to say that no one has experienced anything quite like last year. But through it all, through the struggles and successes, protests and promotions, we never lost track of why we are here and who we are fighting for. Every student, every day. And it all starts with the power of one. One teacher, one administrator, one staff member, one person dedicated to making a difference. One person to offer help when it is needed. One person to supply hope where there is none. One person being there when nobody else was. One person who believes that our students will shape the future. One person, one student, our future. In a district with over 37,000 students and nearly 4,000 employees, it would be easy to be a face in the crowd. But that isn't what Peoria is about. Every one of you is here to make a difference, to be the one person each student needs so they can be the best person they can be. One person to help shape them so they can shape the future. Be the power of one.
Wow. Good morning, Peoria. Yes, here we are, all together. I have no idea how I got here. Okay, no, I don't mean today. I got that. I don't know how I got to Phoenix. It's kind of interesting. I know that it was, let me look, not sure. I believe it was June 12th, 1990. My husband at that time decided that we should get into our burgundy Nissan van. He would be driving. Beautiful, huh? And we had our 2 teenage sons behind us and then our 2 babies behind them. So 4 of us in this Nissan van. And truly, I have no recollection of what led up to us getting here. None at all. What I do know is that I had a lot of questions. How did I pack my stuff? What happened to my house? Did we sell it? Did someone buy it? Where's the furniture? You have the furniture? I have no clue about any of it. And why in all name Arizona? Now granted, my parents lived here, which is probably the reason, but it also suggests that I was probably losing my mind. So it was a 2-week National Lampoon vacation that we were starting on. It was amazing. Now, this was not going up the Pacific coast or coming down to New England, Steve, and all that beautiful area. We were crossing the country. There we were. You have Missouri and Oklahoma. Okay, go on. Missouri, give us a hand. Oklahoma, Texas, kind of the flatlands as we looked at it. And as we were driving, I'm thinking, what is there that we're seeing? And then my husband pulled over and he said, look at all the building here. Look at their building for miles and miles and miles and miles in Oklahoma. And then we realized, no, those were houses that had crashed and crashed and crashed and crashed in a tornado. Huge disaster, if you will. But we had a minor disaster that was happening. As we left Springfield, Illinois, we lived in Skokie, Illinois, we lived Springfield, Illinois, some of you from there, the air in our car went out, totally out, and it's June. And I can remember my husband putting his hand up every 3 or 4 minutes for 1,700 miles, okay, saying, it's getting cool, isn't it? No, not even a touch is it getting cool. Now, it's June 26th, we are in Flagstaff, okay? It's about 10:30 in the morning, and I called down to my mother, lived there, and I said, Mom, it is almost 90 degrees in Flagstaff. We can't make it. We just cannot make it. Oh, sure you can. It's not a big deal. It's about 2 hours. You just get back in the car. And mind you, there's no cell phones, right? I'm standing outside on a phone. Okay, all right, we'll try. Come on down. We'll meet you at the house. We'll have breakfast. It'll be great. So we get in the car for the last couple miles of our Gothic torture. And we're driving, and I do pretty good until we get to Camp Verde. And then we start going down. And then it gets hotter, and it's hotter. And the windows are there. And my husband puts his hand out of the car and says, don't say a word. Our slapping is occurring across our face from the wind. We're getting totally red. The babies, I put them in an ice cooler in the back. Really safe, okay? But it's lukewarm water at that point. It doesn't really matter. Now we're there. It's great. And he says, look, about 10 minutes, we will be in our new house. We'll be there. Great. The kids, the boys in the back say, okay, we'll all get undressed and we'll jump right into our new pool. Sounds like a plan. So we pull up. There's Mom. She's smiling and she's waving and she's saying, so great, so great. It's June 26th. This is the hottest day ever recorded in Arizona. Thank you, Mom. Now the boys, they leap out of the car. Last one is in the rotten egg. And my dad goes, in where? Wait. The pool's not dry yet. There's no water in it. Great. It's a wonderful arrival. That night, we go up to our balcony. Lee's standing next to me, and we look out, and he goes, oh, look, a shooting star. I need you to know, I have never seen a shooting star, ever. Every time someone points, I look, and it's gone, okay? I'm not even sure there is such a thing as a shooting star. But he looks at me, and he puts his arms around me, and he goes, hey, kid, look at all the possibilities. And all I can think at that moment, some of you know me pretty well, right? I'm kind of gifted in my own way. I tend to take chances, but I think there's only two possibilities at that moment. One is to push him off the balcony. And the other would be, if I jump, will I actually hit the pool or not? I'm not sure. But today, as I look at each of you, I am finally understanding that there's nearly 4,000 shooting stars that are in this room today. And as I think of him, and I think of you, all I can say is, hey, kid, look at all the possibilities. You are those possibilities. You know, it's ironic. Since I arrived in the desert, there's been a mirage. This enormous mirage that's covered the desert. In fact, it's covered a lot of the country. It's been an optical illusion, if you will, an illusion that tends to want to diminish this thing called public education. It says, public education is failing. It then says, well, kids in private schools do much better than children in our public schools. And then it also goes on to say that those of us who work in public education aren't quite the same quality as those who work in other venues. One of my favorite movies is American President by Michael Douglas. Tell me you've seen that movie. Okay, yes, thank you. Some of you are old enough, that's good. It's not that old, team. And Michael Douglas, he says to one of his aides, people don't drink the sand because they're thirsty. They drink the sand because they don't know the difference. Well, we know the difference. We certainly know the difference. We are ordinary people, but we do extraordinary things. We do. Give yourself a hand. We definitely do. As Danielle said, funding in public education, yes, it's in a crisis mode, but we are strong and we are vital and we are the cornerstone of this thing called democracy. We have a curriculum. It's not a helter-skelter curriculum. Hey, let's do butterflies today. That sounds good. Or let's read page 45. We have a vetted curriculum. It's written by the federal government, the state government, and our own curriculum specialists in this district. It's very impressive. We know what we're doing. Accountable? We're accountable to our community, not to some corporate stakeholder. We are accountable to you. School board members, give them a hand. Our PTSAs, our site councils, our booster clubs, those are the people that we're accountable to every day, the individual parents. That's what we're about in public education. We have 42 Peoria Unified public schools in our district, and those schools are inclusive, not exclusive. Every child is welcome. Every child is welcome. And when they come, we enhance their gifts and talents every single day. Diversity. Diversity is not an issue, something we deal with. It's something we celebrate. It makes us who we are in Peoria. I am an advocate of choice. The myriad of choices that you provide every day to our children in Peoria Unified School District. We have arts. We have athletics. Where are you, athletics? Where are you, arts? We have CTE, IB, AP, AVID. We have dual enrollment, clubs, signature programs. Foothills, where are you? I saw you coming in. You have an arts academy over there. We have Heritage, your STEM school. Where are you? Okay, Heritage. Santa Fe, Spanish Immersion School. We have Copperwood Center of Differentiated Instruction. Copperwood. And then we have Apache, our gifted program there. Our beautiful Sunflower children. Our Met Academy, our Flex Academy. We could go on and on. A myriad of choice. That's what choice is in public education. And finally, the rhetoric that we do not have the same quality as other people. Really? That must mean that they didn't graduate from a Peoria school district. That's what that means. We have the best and brightest in this school, in this district. Every single one of you are the best and brightest. And I'm proud. I'm proud of everything you do. I'm proud of everything you've done. And I know that you always do what's right, you do it right, and you do it right now. Now the Mirage is just that, it's a mirage. We're putting together a strategic plan. Strategic plan has 4 areas on them. We have student success, safety and well-being, stewardship of community resource, and community connections. Those 4 areas aren't new. We're not putting them in to fix something. We're putting them in to empower us and to continue to grow so that the legacy we leave is as good as the privilege we have inherited over the last 128 years. We are Peoria. Every student, every day, prepared to shape tomorrow. That's what we're about here. In 2 days, less than 2 days, a miracle is about to happen. Now, note, this is a miracle I have had the privilege of experiencing 28 years. This will be 29 in this district. At the crack of dawn, a bus will appear. And then another bus, and then another bus. And the streets will be lined, thank you, back there, with yellow, beautiful buses, some white buses, and they'll cover the streets of Peoria and Glendale and one actually in Sun City. Yeah. We will have, starting to smell, the foods that our beautiful cafeteria people are working on. Some are breakfasts, some are lunches, some are snacks for thousands and thousands of children. Our custodians are going to be kicking the stones and the rocks and the leaves that have appeared the night before. They always do. We can count on it. All of our maintenance and construction are hammering last things and trying to do the last piece of paint that is chipped off as we look at it. IMT is making sure that all of the IMT networks are working. We have our support staff scurrying around, making sure that all of the calls are being answered very quickly, that we have all of our things all over, and all the beautiful charts that are standing there already. Certainly our administration, you're running around to make sure that you have all areas covered and everything's perfect. Secretaries, certainly you're continuing to do everything. And our teachers, our wonderful teachers, you're doing that last minute preparation, getting a name tag done, getting ready to stand at the door as our crossing guard starts to walk out. The stage is set, and then it happens. 37 almost 1,000 children start to appear on their streets. They leave their homes, they get on their buses, they walk with their parents, and they come onto their campuses. It's amazing. They high five, they smile, they hug their teachers. They're ready to go. Bell rings, and within 15 minutes, it's totally quiet. There's not a sound. Every child is in a class learning for the 2018-19 school year. I've watched it every year, and I can't believe it. It is a complete miracle, and it only happens because of every single person in this room. It is absolutely a blessing. 5 years after I arrived in the Valley, Lee Pallas died. He was a wonderful man, and I met a wonderful man. His name is Gary Thompson. Now, Gary told me very clearly, he also was widowed, and said, if I get married again, I am not marrying anybody with children. And that's great. Okay. Gary, look at all the possibilities. 21 years later, we have 4 children and their significant others. We have 5 beautiful grandchildren. Now, the oldest 4 spell the word love. Lucas, Olivia, Vivian, and Ethan. They did that because I'm old and I will forget. The baby is Charlie. And Charlie is just the epitome of this thing called love. She is an amazing little sprite. She is adorable. She is a complete and total pleasure. She knows how to dance and sing, and she did a killer Pledge of Allegiance this morning. Oh, I'm so proud of you. Could you sit up here for a minute? Okay, so, and if she sits up here, we'll be quiet for 2 seconds. Just very perfect. Okay. Do you have anything to say? No, okay. So, for Charlie and all of the Charlies, every single one of them that comes to us in 2 days, please do what you always do. Smile at them, teach them, support them, love them, and my goodness, enjoy them. And continue, please, to make the impossible possible and the possible certain. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you do. Can you say thank you? Say thank you.
Thank you.
We have the unique privilege to hear from a world-renowned guest speaker now, who's going to talk about the incredible power we each have to impact the life of a child. As he presents, please remember that the power of one is very, very strong, but the power of us all working together is unstoppable. Now, please join me in welcoming our keynote speaker, who's been featured on the New York Times, Good Morning America, Oprah, and his documentary TV series from A&E following his groundbreaking work with teens. He's the author of Grown Up's Guide to Teenage Humans and has spoken at Harvard, Stanford, and for more than 2 million students, parents, teachers, and caring adults. Please welcome Josh Shipp. Josh.
I'd invite you to consider a time before when you've been on a roller coaster ride. Now think about what happens when you step onto that roller coaster and into the seat. At some point, this lap safety bar comes down. Now I want you to think about, if you're a bit like me, the very first thing you do when that lap safety bar comes down in your lap, right? You grab it, you push it, you wiggle it, you're sort of silently judging the 16-year-old part-time employee. You're thinking, is this guy really qualified to save my life? Now think about it, like me, do you push and prod and wiggle and test that bar hoping that it will fail so that it releases and that you have a game over situation? Or do you push it and you prod it and you wiggle it and you test it because you're a little bit freaked out and you just want to confirm that it'll keep you safe, that it will hold? Listen to me, kids, teenagers, students will do the exact same thing to you and I. You see, like that lap bar on a roller coaster, kids will test you to see if you will hold. Now, just like you had nothing personal against that lap bar, you didn't think it was an idiot or an imbecile or bad at its job or said the wrong thing or dropped the ball on you, Though undoubtedly to you and I as caring adults, it often feels that way, doesn't it? You pushed, you prodded, you wiggled, you tested because you were a little bit scared. Maybe once before the lap bar had released on you. You had a bad experience and you just wanted to make certain. See, I would argue there is no part of that roller coaster that is more important and yet less celebrated than that lap bar, because it ensures the safety, the well-being of human beings. You and I must be this lap bar. But this is so difficult because oftentimes kids will push and prod and your students will push and prod and wiggle and test, and it feels so personal. This was certainly my MO growing up as a kid. See, for me as a kid, I mastered the art of getting kicked out of foster homes. You see, I was so scared and hurt and confused by the things that were happening to me and around me as a kid that I began to act out. You see, I found what kids do not talk out, they will act out. And for me as a kid, I felt I had no one that I could turn to and talk to about these heartbreaking, confusing, terrifying things going on in my own life. So I acted out. I pushed against that lap bar. And looking back, most idiotically, I took it out on the very people who were actually trying to help me. Folks like you, my different teachers, foster parents, social workers, counselors, coaches.
Time after time, I've done my lessons. I'm caring and kind, and bad headaches, I've had a few. We've had our share of challenges, but we've come through. We are Peoria, my friends, and we'll be together till the end. We are Peoria. We are Peoria. It's time for school, and we'll help our students shape the world. I've driven my bus and fed students lunch. The support staff deserves fame, fortune, and accolades. We thank them all, but it's been no bed of roses. Funding's been tight. I consider it a challenge for the profession and state, and we won't lose sight. We are Peoria, my friends, and we'll be together till the end.
Well, it's been an incredible morning, and the energy in here, it's amazing. I hope you're going to take all of this back into our schools as we welcome 37,000 students back here in just a couple of days. Before we release all of you, all 3,500 of my best friends here today, out to head back to your sites for the day, we want to release our bus drivers first this morning. And that's first because you're awesome. And it's second because we hope you can get the AC started in the buses for all of us, right? So bus drivers, can we give them a round of applause as they exit? And if you're riding the bus this morning, you're gonna head to the west side. So those of you who are taking the bus this morning, you're gonna head over to the west side. The buses are there and waiting for you. Well, we hope you all enjoyed coming together under one roof this morning. How about one more huge round of applause for CCV for hosting us? Their hospitality has been amazing, and as if they haven't done enough for us, they actually have ice cold water waiting for you as you exit today. Isn't that great? So thank you, CCV. We really appreciate it so much. We also have a little gift for you as you exit today to help you remember the inspiration that we all shared together this morning. And it's a little sticker, a Peoria Unified sticker. You can put it on your hydro flask, on maybe your planner or something as you start the year to help make sure that you remember our time coming together under one roof. If you want to relive any of the moments from today, we hope you'll do so. We'll be sharing this event on our YouTube channel, so you can certainly go back and relive all of the excitement of coming together today under one roof. Before we turn all of you loose to head back out, I want to make sure I can remind you that you have the power, individually, in your bus, in the lunch line, on the field, in the classroom. The power that you have to impact our kids as we start this next school year is enormous. And collectively, I know we're going to make it a remarkable year. Have a good one. Thanks.